Guess same here. Last night was the first time I got to join in on a screening here in New York, and I know that it was raining and snowy, but there were two sold-out cinemas, and it was the first time I've been able to see kind of fans of the film, and it was really, I don't know, it hammered home for me. You know, when you make a film, you don't, or a TV or whatever it is, you don't necessarily do it with people in mind. You know, you just focus on the product. But I think that it's very special, and I'm so glad that it's resonating with people and going to a mainstream audience.
What about you guys? What sort of compelled you to take this role and sort of, you felt that I need to play this role?
I mean, I think the audition for this came for me at such an unseemingly like perfect time. I think I auditioned and was cast probably like a few weeks before we even wrapped season 1 of 13 Reasons, which is obviously like a very intense role to kind of dive into. And then not shortly after, I kind of went into Leo, and I think that there are sorry, excuse me. I think there are a lot of factors that kind of contributed to what made Love, Simon so appealing and why it resonated with me so much. And I think the first was obviously the story. You know, I think it's told through such a unique lens, but also at the end of the day, I mean, you just read it, and what struck me was the pure kind of joy and beauty and the ability that the script had to kind of bring me back to like moments and feelings in a way that felt very authentic. And I think there's something beautiful about that kind of love story and coming of age story that is timeless. And I think in addition to that, you know, Leah, I was very, you know, and for me, having only ever done one job at the time, it was like, okay, well, how is it different, you know? And at the end of the day, I think that Leah is so different as a person and has such a beautiful and interesting story. It was really interesting to play someone who I think, has quite a hard external shell. And you see in the movie, you see in the film that she plays a lot with manipulating like the external and the aesthetic, and she has quite a tough and kind of almost viperish attitude when it comes to things that she doesn't understand or places or people that she's not familiar with, which I think I kind of relate to a lot. Like I'm very fierce and protective of my friends, and that's something that I could definitely relate to. But also on the inside for Leah, it's like there was that complexity with the hard external shell, but also then when she was in her group of familiar friends, like with Simon and with Nick, it was this kind of like loose but insecure and a little bit like just sensitive and open and fragile, but not in a sort of like a submissive way, but you know, like in a fragile, strong way. I think there's strength to fragility, and that's definitely what I felt with her and her journey through all of this, you know, going from that familiarity and that consistency of having a friend like Simon for 10 years, you know, and him always being there, and then having someone like Abby come into the group and penetrate that friendship group and change the dynamic, and watching everyone around you change and evolve, and not knowing how you're meant to change or evolve is scary. And I think that's kind of the other big thing for this film for me that really resonated is in high school, you have this desperate want and need to be true to yourself and to be authentic. But also on the other hand, you're trying so hard to understand who you are and who that person is. So I think all of those reasons.
The movie is sort of this love letter to those who feel like they don't belong. And that's high school in a nutshell for a lot of us. I'm curious, what were each of you like in high school? Was there a certain group that you belonged to, or you were sort of a floater? What, each one of you, I'd love to hear.
I mean, I feel like sort of somewhat similarly, like I never fit in anywhere. And I remember it was something that I was so confused about for such a long time, because in my school, you know, especially when you're young, it's like there is like the popular group, the sport group, the music group, like it's all like labels and boxes. And I think what I like learned the older I got is that no one fits into a box. We're all pieces. Like for me, like I was a swimmer, but I was like too like girly to be in the sporty group, and I was too like nerdy to be in the girl group, but I was like pretty enough or whatever to be in the popular group. And then I think I found my kind of my jam when I was in high school, probably like my last 3 years, and it was honestly just like a group of kids who we were just all different, but like loved each other, and good bunch of kids, I guess. I think overall for high school, at least my last 3 years, I stopped swimming and I got very into music, and I felt very like, I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe it's just like a friend thing, but like I loved everyone in my year group so much, and I think that was a really unique experience. Like not every high school experience is like that, and it wasn't at my other schools, but I was always very protective of everyone in my year group, and I always wanted to make sure everyone was okay. And like I said earlier this morning, like we kind of like when politics gets involved in education, I was like one of 6 in a drama group, and I remember our principal was just like destroying the arts at our school, and it killed me because I saw it affecting my friends, and I saw that it affected me. And I remember being this 17-year-old like fighting the system, like this is bullshit, like
Yeah.
like writing letters and being like, we are not being taught the right course. And I was like, guys, it's okay, we're gonna get it. So I think I was just like, I just did my thing and turned out okay.
I think we would have gotten along.
Hi, my name is Shamaya. I love the movie. Since today is International Women's Day, I was wondering which women inspire you?
Good question.
I think that the woman that most inspires me is my mom. She's a 2-time breast cancer survivor. She's a Kundalini yoga teacher. She raised me and my brother in the 90s when it was very uncouth for a white woman to be raising black children. And I think that her strength and her idea that it doesn't matter who you are, it matters how you show up on this earth and how to treat people with love and compassion within that. Really just like, she set the bar, and I'm just trying to reach it.
I mean, that's, I don't know how to follow that, but I'd have to say, I'd have to say a shout out to my mom as well. You know, I think there's no better place to start than that. But I think overall I would say as well, I feel like in some way or another, you know, I look up to the women around me, like regardless of who they are, you know, whether they're older or younger. You know, the Time's Up movement, I was able to look at all these actresses who have had so much experience in Hollywood doing things for me that benefit me, so that I can pass that privilege down and hold the door for people coming up after me. But, you know, contrary to that, you know, someone younger than me like Emma Gonzalez, who is speaking her mind, and you know, I don't want to build her up on social media because sometimes that stuff gets confusing, but I think that the essence of that and that fieriness, like I'm inspired by young people today and young women today, because using your voice is inspiring, and it's powerful and it's strong. So yeah.
Hi guys, so I actually had the opportunity to watch the movie last night, and I just wanted to tell you guys you did phenomenal, incredible job. So my question is for all of you. You guys filmed this in Atlanta, right? So I was wondering